Externalities, written and read by Mary Teresa, copyright 2016. "Why are you here?" he said. I could ask him the same question. He continued, "Weren't no murder, just his body finally give up." I said, "I was just curious." This angered him. Others crowded around him, and, not so incidentally, around me. Tall or not, I was clearly outnumbered. He looked pointedly at my press badge and said, "There's no story here." Then he said, "You think this is a zoo?" His voice rose. "Or some experiment gone awry?" I shrank. This was probably not the reaction I should have chosen, but I shrank before his rage. Someone said, "We're not here to satisfy your curiosity." Another said, "Give us some money. I'm hungry." The big man made to shove me. It was the person next to me he pushed away, though. "Stop crowding him," he ordered. The crowd moved back. Most drifted away. The hungry one went back to rummaging through the garbage. He found something, popped it in his mouth, and promptly vomited. A dog, its ribs visible, rushed to eat it. The big man watched me watch this, and I stopped watching it, suddenly and inexplicably ashamed. He said, "Are you planning to join us?" I felt my eyes widen in shock. He chuckled at this. "None of us planned this," he said, and he raised his arm to encompass the background. Makeshift shelters, a few tattered, scattered tents, a man sitting cross-legged on the ground, head supported by his hands, suit looking not too shabby yet. The smell of rot permeated, like when you open the fridge for the first time at the summer cottage and find last season's potato salad. I can almost hear Mum's voice shouting, "Shut the goddamn door!" But there is no door to shut. "A man like you is likely to get hurt hanging about here," he said. Then, with the same imperious tone he used with the crowd to disperse it, he said, "Take your curiosity elsewhere." My curiosity was not sated. I discovered the dead man's life was a short life. He was born. He died. In between, some living must have been done. The first and last events were duly recorded by some government functionary. No one seemed to know much about the life. He came of age long before the internet. His accomplishments, whatever they may have been, weren't recorded there for posterity. He didn't know what Facebook was, nor had he ever tweeted someone. His death hadn't made the podcast of the day. The people he spent the last years of his life with weren't much help either. They tended to forget who they once been once they became nothing. The industry in which he spent 20 years folded up, like the pension fund he paid into for those same 20 years. That industry simply disappeared. The jobs went elsewhere. "It seemed like that's where he might have worked," some old person said. I couldn't tell if it was male or female, for the filth that coated the rags. It never occurred to me then the person didn't shower or wash their clothes because of a lack of a point. You can't keep clean when you sleep in the streets. I decided she was female. I admit to the possibility that I was wrong. I asked her, "Why do you think that?" She shrugged her shoulders and said, "Just things he said." She looked down and mumbled something. I only caught the tail end of it and said, "Pardon?" She looked up but didn't meet my eyes and enunciated clearly, "We don't talk about who we once were." She added, her voice suddenly husky, "What would be the point?" And she shuffled away before I could ask any more questions. Today I was fired. Industry's in a slump, they said. Need to downsize, they said. Need fresh faces, fresh ideas, they said. Economic forecasts have gone awry.